Y'all, happy Sunday. Move this cord out of the way. So here I am. Oh, this is wonky. I apologize in advance, this camera. Um, First of all, happy Sunday. Today is November 1st or 2nd, one of the two, not even quite sure. I think today's the 2nd of November. We just did that whole fallback thing. And I'm so thankful for that fallback, girl, because uh I have been waking up at 4 a.m. a lot of mornings to take my daughter to work, and I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. But first of all, I am officially a crochet girly. Okay, I'm officially a crochet girly. I made my own hat, which I did model for you last time. Okay, but I'm gonna show you again because I'm so proud of this hat. Number one, I still have to cut these strings, y'all, but I haven't done that yet. So here's my beanie that I've made for myself. And I actually wore it today. I tucked this inside, this string inside, and I wore it. But I am now, of course, every time I get on camera, here comes Callie. Here she comes, y'all. Here she comes. Every time. Okay, mamash. Okay, mamash. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, stinky booty. Thank you. Literally every time I do this. Excuse me. Excuse me, mama. I am now officially working on a hat for my friend, and I'm doing the same color because this is the color that she says she wants. So I'm gonna do some crocheting, which I am learning how to do different type of weaves or whatever it's called. Hook. I don't even know what it's called, but I've been working on this for a few hours now, and my first hat took me like 3 days to make, which was again this one. Took me like 3 days, blood, sweat, and tears to make. I think this one just might take 2 days. I'm not sure. I think I'm getting a little faster, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I'm officially a crochet girl. I have really been doing what I can to slow down. And I was having a conversation with a girlfriend yesterday. Actually, a lot of my friends, we are really like synced up and in tune as far as the type of lives that we want to live. And this is not a requirement for friendship by any stretch, obviously, but it's just funny how what is it? Birds of a feather, they flock together a lot of times. And I was having a conversation with the girlfriend, and she was also saying something that we've been talking about here and there on the podcast and here on the lives or on YouTube is like this whole idea of slowing down and living a more analog lifestyle. Because I was telling her that I not only am I like learning how to, do crochet and make things like that. I want to make sweaters and hats and bags and all kinds of stuff versus going out necessarily buying stuff. But I was saying how I wanted to start buying like DVDs, maybe a DVD player, record player, just stuff like that, because I'm so over this fast paced reality that we are existing in. I just want to pull back and slow down. I really, really do. And so she was also saying the same thing for her as well. She really is looking for ways to live a more analog lifestyle. She actually has a record player. She listens to records and some other things that she was saying. And I just, you know, there's just something about slowing down and allowing yourself and being allowed or allowing yourself to open up and just enjoy life. And that's really, really hard because we are in such a fast paced society, but it's like we're forced to live that type of lifestyle, especially if you require money, of course, which we all do, to survive. Like everything is just so fast paced. It's like before you even have a chance to like acknowledge, for example, something that has happened, something else has already like filled in that space. You know, let's say for example, something happens in the news or you read something about a celebrity or whatever, not necessarily bad, but you just read something that's interesting, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. 20 seconds later, you're looking at something as something else, boom, something even bigger and greater has happened. And so you kind of forget about what you literally didn't even have time to process like a couple of minutes ago. It's just crazy how that works. So I am really trying to or not trying to, I am really doing what I can to intentionally slow down. And one thing that I have noticed about now that I'm a crochet girl, the one thing that I can say, all kidding aside, is that when you are immersed in a hobby, something that is a skill, whatever, this is literally like meditation. At least for me, and maybe because I'm new, I can't really quite multitask. I have to turn the TV off or mute the volume or really turn it down. I can't be watching the TV and trying to do all this. So to me, it's like a meditation. It's like it's just time for me to slow down. And so I really enjoy it. My brain kind of, I want to say turns off, but it doesn't, because I'm literally having to make sure I get every single stitch so I don't miss a stitch, and make sure I'm putting the needle in the right place and all that. Uh, but it is a way to slow my mind down. It is a way to slow my mind down. And so I want to encourage you, you don't have to do crochet, obviously, but I want to encourage you to find something that you can do that will allow you to slow down, okay? Allow you to turn your brain off, at least turn your brain off of all the stressy things that might be coming up for you, okay? Black women, we are like, a lot of us, we are just so stressed right now. There's so much shit going on. A lot of us, we are so stressed. We don't know if we are coming or going a lot of times. And so taking half an hour, a whole day, once a week or a few times a week or whatever you can do to turn your brain off and get immersed in something like this, whatever this is for you, I think it can be very, 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 very beneficial. And on top of that, once you have made something, whether it's, I don't care if you're a writer, you've made a poem, if you've made a hat or a sweater, or you painted something, you made your first ceramic mug, like whatever the case may be, once you do that thing and you hold it with your hands, there is something about holding something in your hands and or using something that you've made, or uh, uh, finishing something that you've written and seeing it published or online on a blog or whatever. There's just something magical. There's something so magical about that moment, uh, because you've accomplished something. You've accomplished something. This is a big deal. It really, really is. So if you have a hobby, even if no one understands it, please do not downplay whatever it is that you do that brings you peace. It doesn't matter if anyone is vibing with you or whatever the case may be. Be proud of what you make. And that leads me to the second part of this conversation, which is I used to wonder why I felt so different. I used to wonder why I just felt like I never really fit in, like I didn't really quite belong, like I was different. And of course, the way that I was raised, that is a part of it, obviously. We didn't have the money. Okay. We didn't have the money for me to fit in. We didn't have the money for me to be a part of like the cool crowd or the cool kids, because these kids that I grew up with, some of them, or the cool ones anyway, they had money, and money gives you access to things, obviously. And what do kids, a lot of kids like, they like things. So the more things you have, like if you have your first car at 16, or you can go shopping with a parent's credit card and go to the mall every weekend and come dressed to death on Monday or Tuesday with new tennis shoes and new Guess jeans. Yes, Guess jeans were like the in thing when I was growing up. I'm not sure if Guess even still exists. Maybe, I don't know. But Guess was like a really popular style, like in the 90s or the 80s or something like that. But, e- just not feeling like you were a part of the cool crowd would always make me feel like I was so different. Like I was someone who, if you left me in a room with some snacks and some books, baby, I promise you I was fine. I was a reader and I still am. So I was kind of like, not kind of like, I was a nerd. I was a square, not a nerd as in super smart, but a nerd as in just very couldn't do the latest stuff, couldn't go hang out really with friends, couldn't, we would have dances in high school or junior high or whatever, really couldn't do much of that. Didn't go to my prom, we didn't have the money, that kind of thing. So give me some books or things to do and come back in a week and I would totally be fine. So that's what I mean when I say just very nerdy, wasn't very experienced, with I guess things that teens or young adults typically did. So I used to wonder, like, why do I not feel like I fit in? Why do I feel so different? And you might feel like that too. Maybe in the past you felt like that, or maybe you feel like that now. You're wondering, like, you may not ever admit this to someone. Sometimes we have these feelings and we feel like if we share this, people will think we're weird. People will think we're oddballs. People will think where there's something wrong with us because we don't you know we don't, I guess, go with the flow, or we're not, what I'm trying to say. So you may not ever really necessarily admit this to someone, but some of us deep down, we wonder, like, why do I feel like I'm so different? Why do I feel like I'm so quirky? Why do I feel like I'm so awkward? Why do I feel like I can't quite fit in with like mainstream? Why do I not feel like I'm a mainstream person? And I just want to let you know, girl, like, you were not created to be mainstream. You were not necessarily created to fit in with all the people and to do all the things that all the people do. I should say all in air quotes. Uh, you were not designed necessarily to fit in I I want to say regular, but I don't mean it in that sense, but you weren't necessarily meant to fit in that way. You were designed in such a way that you really just stand out, but you're thinking of it as a negative. Like, I would think of myself in that way, like, wow, I really just, I just stand out so much. I don't know all the popular things. I don't know all the popular dances. I don't watch all the latest shows. I can't do all the things that the cool kids do. Like, I really used to hate that when I was younger, like trying to figure out why. I would try so hard to fit in. I wanted to fit in so badly. I wanted to fit in and just be seen as like, cool breeze, you know what I mean? A cool breeze. But that just didn't really happen. It just didn't really happen. And I had friends, but in my mind, I was just like, because fitting in was just such a big thing for me. I wanted to be a part of the in crowd. So I had my friends and stuff. I wasn't friendless, but I wanted to be a part of the in crowd. I wanted to be a part of the cool kids crew. I wanted to, but like I said, I just didn't. I was just different. I used to think that different was bad. I used to think that different was not good. Different was terrible. But now in my older age, finally, I am understanding, and I want you to know this too. I'm understanding and realizing that those things that I thought were bad about me were beautiful, were blessings. That was just a part of who I was and who I am. I get it now. It took me pretty much almost 50 years to understand that I was never made to fit in. I was made in such a way, I was designed in such a way that I would just stand out in my own way. And that's a beautiful thing. The thing is that society wants us all to kind of be like sheep and be all the same and like all the same things and not deviate too much from the mainstream and get caught up in the same things or like the same things, the same shows, the same foods, the same this, the same that, the same hobbies, whatever. Because obviously that's a part of connection, and connection means safety, we know that. uh, but that is just not my reality. And I think if that is you, the sooner you realize that your design is a blessing instead of like a curse or a hindrance, the better off I think your life will be. Tap into your freak, okay? Tap into that awkward. Tap into that weirdo thing that you feel is just like so, I don't know, so untrendy. Um because I want you to know that your difference makes a difference. And there are people like you, other people like you out there, so you're not alone. You're not isolated. You may not have met your people yet, but it's not just you. There are a lot of people that do not fit the mold necessarily. I don't think that generally speaking, society knows how to really, I don't want to say deal with, but let's just say that deal with people that are different. Yes, there are people that get popularity for their differences and things like that. But, different is not necessarily a mainstream kind of thing, if you get what I'm saying. So it can be hard to feel like you're so different and not cool or whatever. And you just want to be. You just want to be. But I am realizing that my differences, like, this is my life, and I'm no longer fighting it. I've said a long time ago, like, one of the reasons why I was afraid to make YouTube content, to show up online, is because my life is so boring. My life is so boring. But I promise you, I've had, I don't want to say countless as in millions of women, because it's not that, but countless to me, Black women over the last 5, 6, 7 years messaging me or sending me emails or whatever, and just saying, hey, for example, my voice. I used to be like, I feel like I used to feel like, and sometimes I still do, but I would be like, my voice, it just sounds so weird to me. Like, I feel like I sound like a man. But I can't tell you how many women will say, I listen to your podcast and your voice is so soothing. So here I am thinking that I'm walking around sounding like this big burly dude. But women like the sound of my voice. It can be soothing for them to put a podcast episode of mine on in the background and work or exercise or knit, crochet, whatever, while I'm talking about self-care. That is not a hindrance. I thought it was, but it's not. Me showing up on camera and showing you my simple life, okay? Not living right now in a lavish kind of way, but living simply. That to me that would have been like, for the older version of me, that would have been like a no-no. That would have been something that should have been something that filled me with shame, because it was just way too different to show living in such a way. But I realized that that's a blessing. Me showing up authentically in this way, showing you this is where I am right now. This is the season that I'm in right now. This is how I'm blooming. And it doesn't include having all the things. That is not a hindrance, right? It may not be mainstream sharing an authentic truth like this, but there are Black women out there right now that are seeing this in some capacity, and it makes their journey easier because they don't feel alone. So, I'm not saying that you should honor your difference so that because it helps someone else. That's a part of it, obviously, but I want you to honor it for you and to realize that your uniqueness, it's a gift. Your uniqueness is a blessing, so don't be afraid to shine your light in your own special way. And I promise you, the right people, opportunities, whatever, they will find you in time. And in the meantime, you just enjoy learning about yourself, enjoy being your true self, enjoy being your authentic self, enjoy figuring out what makes you you, and what helps you to feel like your best you. And things will start to fall into place as they fall into place. So yes, girl, I realize I ain't crocheted not a doggone thing yet. So listen, I'm gonna try to do it. So again, what I'm doing is I am making a beanie, like I said, for one of my friends for Christmas this year. Like I mentioned in another video, I think in my last live, I mentioned that for Christmas this year, there's like this great like blackout as far as buying for the holidays is concerned, or maybe not necessarily Christmas. I think from what I've seen, they're doing it from now to like December 2nd or something like that. And I could be mistaken, but that's what I think that I saw. It's like 30 days, November 2nd to December 2nd. But I had decided before that that I'm just like, I'm not going to be buying all this stuff. For me, not buying all the things is a direct tie-in to living a richer life. And you may be like thinking, well, how can that possibly tap into living a richer life? Well, number one, it's less coins coming out my pocket. But I don't mean richer in that way necessarily. For me, it is going to help me to live a richer life because I've decided that everyone on my list, from my daughter to my friends, they are getting something that I have literally made with my own two hands. And that is to me not a more expensive gift, but a richer gift than something that I can go and buy off the shelf. And so this is not only something for me, but it's also helping to, in a very small way, kind of like slow down on this whole capitalistic way of living. I know that my 100, 200, $300, whatever, is not going to make or break the economy, obviously. But you have to kind of like start where you are. And if you are feeling that same pull, then maybe you can find ways to not put so much money in directly to these systems, but instead uh, craft some things, make some things, give those as presents. Yes, a lot of times you'll need to buy, like I'll need to buy yarn, I'll need to buy crochet needles and things like that. But I'm still, and hopefully I can find some Black owned places that will get me what I need in time. Uh, but still, it's not putting so much money into these systems. So I'm just trying to find ways to really pull back and live more simply. And so definitely much, much more to come on that. But yeah, I'm really excited for just being able to make things for the people that I really care about, that I feel like in my own small way, like I am really showing them this is how much I care about you. Look at it. I mean, it takes hours, or at least for me, it takes hours to make like one thing, depending on what you're making. A beanie could be 3 days, 2 or 3 days for me, child, and a blanket could be like 2 or 3 weeks, But yeah, that is how I want to show up for my people and show them that I care for them. So, in any case, I realized that I again have not made not a nair, not a stitch. So I'm gonna show you how I make this. I'm gonna finish this row and we're gonna see if we can do it as I'm talking. I really don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I stopped here. But man, crochet, this is really like a labor of love. I can't even tell you. I used to have this aunt, and unfortunately she has passed away. She passed away maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And she could crochet, or excuse me, sew. She could sew for the gods. Okay. She was born probably like in the early 50s, I'm thinking, or maybe like the late 40s, something like that. And, back then, at least based on what I was taught, she, did a lot of sewing because my mother and her sisters, they were raised in the projects. They were raised in the projects, and there was not money to go around to be buying things like school clothes and things like that. And so my aunt, out of necessity, see, I messed up this stitch, but out of necessity, she had to learn how to sew, and she got so good with it. Like she was making all kinds of stuff. She actually, when I was about 5 years old, she sewed for me this Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. And I still actually have the Raggedy Ann doll 45 years later, which is wild to me. And it's still in really good shape. But the point of it all is that, what I wish, as I'm learning now how to crochet, is that I had really taken the time to sit at her knee and learn a skill that, is a really big deal. Knowing how to sew your own clothes, not only is a skill for you, but if times get tough, it's a skill that people need seamstresses. You know what I'm saying? So it's a skill for you, and it's also a skill that could be in your back pocket or whatever. And I feel like that's what's missing today is that a lot of times we just need to work, sit in a job for 10 hours, working a 9 to 5 or whatever, and we don't have even the time or the energy by the time you're done to learn certain life skills like what our ancestors had to learn out of necessity. And so I really, really regret the fact that I never took the opportunity to sit at her knee and ask her questions and learn how to sew. That is something that I really, really wish I would have done. But it's okay. I didn't get the opportunity to do that, but it's something that I can do now. It's just obviously going to take some time. But man, our elders, some of them, they really had uh, skill sets that we could have learned from. But it's all right. Now see, I don't know why this is acting up now that I'm trying to be on here crocheting. It's a little tricky trying to talk and crochet at the same time, and hopefully I don't miss any stitches. But I really want to have like a I would love to have like a crochet circle or something like that. Maybe I'll just try to find one. But I think that would be really cool just to have Black women on Zoom, and we're just making our projects and things like that and doing kind of like working on projects together. But it's also a great way to prioritize your mental health, just being in conversation with Black women and kikiing and having a little wine and things of that nature. But that I don't think that's something that I want to I have to see if that's something that exists versus trying to create something like that. But yeah, I really want to get these things done because I don't want to feed this machine anymore that says we have to buy all the things for the holidays. And a lot of times, we end up buying stuff that people really don't even need. That's the crazy thing about the holidays. And I would listen, I'm not preaching from a place on high. When my daughter was younger, I thought it was my duty to try to get her anything that she freaking wanted that year. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like as a mom, especially a single mom, I'm already raising a child, on my own. And I just wanted her to not feel kind of like how I felt when I was growing up. I didn't want her to feel that way. So I just was like, I'm going to do what I can to make sure that more or less whatever she wanted, I'm going to do my best to get it for her, And so that was a lot of my life. That was something that I did for a very long time. And so now that she's older, I'm just like, damn it. I wish, if only we can go back in time, right? I wish that I could have done things differently, but it's never too late. Like if this was also your story, it's never too late. Keep in mind that these systems are designed, like, look at how hard it is for me to do this. This is the one thing about crocheting where I be wanting to cuss and why it kind of like takes me a minute. Sometimes I have a hard time, there you go, pulling the whatchamacallit through. And I don't know if it's because I'm holding on to this too tightly or not tight enough. I don't know. But like I was saying, it's not too late. It's not too late. You can start creating new habits and patterns now. You can make intentional decisions now that say, I'm going to do what I can to limit feeding this machine, these systems. You know what I'm saying? So I've already told my daughter that for the holidays, you're not buying anything, but I will make you XYZ. And that's just how I'm gonna roll. So I'm really excited to do that for my family and my friends. Child, I'm almost done with this part. I'm not sure how long this is going to take me, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. And that's gonna have to be enough. But yeah, as I wrap this up, I just really wanted to talk to you about that and just let you know that if right now you are struggling with feeling like you you're different, you don't fit in, you don't belong, there's something wrong with you because you do XYZ, and you don't know a lot of people that are into that thing or do XYZ, or it's not mainstream, or you don't have all the things, so you can't follow the in crowd kind of vibe, or you can't keep up with the Joneses, or whatever the case may be. Girl, there is nothing wrong with you. I just want you to know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. As I said, you were built different by design. There's a reason why you are different. You were not created to fall in line with what everybody else is doing. And I know it can feel hard to feel like you're kind of like on the fringe or on the outside looking in, but I want you to do what you can to honor your uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? Allow your uniqueness to shine. Don't hide it. Don't feel like it's something that you need to be ashamed of, or feel like it's something you need to hide. We need more people that are not following the in crowd. We need more people that are not afraid to stand up and be different and be unique and put their own voices out into the atmosphere. Can you imagine if we didn't have people like you and me? This world would be terrible. I mean, it would just be, it would just not be a good place. You know, Being different is a blessing. It's not a curse. It's really, really not. And I don't want you to hold yourself back or beat yourself up because you are not like everybody else. You were not meant to have the same thoughts. You were not meant to co-sign you on all the things. You were not meant to do all the things that everyone else is doing just because everyone else is doing it. Ugh. Anyway, I'm almost done. Look, this drives me crazy. I don't know why it does that. It's like, okay, it's hard to get that needle. I keep saying needle. Yeah, it's a needle. That crochet needle through sometimes, but I'm trying, girl. I am trying my best, and hopefully I'll have this beanie done in maybe by tomorrow. And I can mail it to my friend. She is in, I think she's in Chicago. I forget where she is. I got to get her address. But then I have a friend in California. I'm making her one. I have a friend out here. I'm making her one. And then, of course, I'm making one for my daughter. So your girl's going to be busy. But this is what my holiday is going to this is what my holiday is going to look like. Just me living my best life in my own corner of the world. This drives me crazy. Oh, I think it's because there's something in my technique. I don't know if I'm not holding this loose enough, and I have to keep doing this, and I want to spit and cuss right now, but I'm gonna keep going. There we go. Yeah, I'm not, I think it has to do with the tension. I'm not I don't think I'm making the loops loose enough. But yeah, this is gonna be my holidays. I'm not participating as much as possible. I'm not participating in this kind of Christmas thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be buying all the things. And I feel no guilt about it. Like I said before, I did, like, if I couldn't supply my daughter with certain things, I would feel guilty about that. But I'm not going to feel guilty about that anymore. Like, I'm just not going to do it. So I don't want to participate in these systems in that way. I don't want to do it anymore. So everything that I do is going to be more or less like handmade kind of vibe. And I hope people appreciate that, because that's what they're getting. So that's that on that. So in any case, I am finally coming to the end of this row. Thank you, God. But if you have, made it this far, if anyone watches this video, let me know your thoughts on just your uniqueness and how that has affected you, and kind of like where you are right now. And think about how you can bloom in this season. We can find ways to beat ourselves up. It's easier to beat ourselves up than it is to find the beauty in ourselves, which is crazy to me. And I'm saying that because I'm someone who, I would do that too. Like, I would beat myself up, and I mean, really, really badly, saying all these negative and harmful things to myself about how I wasn't this, I wasn't that, I wasn't good enough, da, 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 da. That's not that's not helpful. It's really not helpful. So I want you to think about some of the beauty that you have, and how you can bloom in this season in your uniqueness, in your difference, even maybe like journaling through that. And you might be saying, well, Bree, there's nothing special about me. There's nothing beautiful about me. Girl, bye. I don't believe that for a second. And neither do you. We don't want to hype ourselves up for whatever reason. Like it doesn't feel right to talk about our beauty or talk about our gifts or things like that. Some of us are way too damn humble for our own good. Okay. It's okay for you to hype yourself up and to believe in yourself and to recognize and realize that there are beautiful parts of you, even if you're different, even if you're unique. So I'm gonna need you to journal through that if you need to and really think about that. So y'all, I have finished the row. I'm really, really excited. Maybe on my next, when I do another live, who knows? This one may be finished. We'll see. And I might be working on my next one. I don't know. But I will, invite you along as I continue making things. There's so many things that I want to make. Again, beanies, I almost have those in the bag. But I want to make a cardigan for myself. I want to make a blanket, like a chunky blanket. I want to make, what else did I say I wanted to make? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that you can make with crochet. So I'm excited at all the opportunities to learn about yarn and different techniques for crochet and learning what all the little abbreviations mean, because I really don't know what they mean. Double crochet, half crochet, single crochet, triple crochet. I don't know what any of that stuff means. But I'm excited to get caught up in learning that again, because this is a skill that is not only beneficial to my mental health, but it's also a skill that I can use as I am living more simply, because it can cut back on some of the things that I would buy. Yes, I will have to buy the materials, and yes, it's definitely going to take time. Anybody can go out and buy a cardigan. You know what I mean? You can get them anywhere, but there's just something different about using my time and energy to make things. Making stuff with your hands really can change your life. It really, really can. So I'm excited for this journey. I am officially a crochet girl. I'm excited. So anyway, any other updates I can think of? Oh, the last update that I would say is your girl is still trying to figure out if I am going to turn my twist into micro logs. I really do not know. This is I think we're entering week 6 this week of having these twists. These are I made micro twists. Right now I have about just under 450 of these twists that I made. And I have got to make a decision soon. I either need to take these out in the next week, which is going to take some time, I'm sure, or I am going to need to get this new growth popping. I have new growth, like it's so fuzzy up in here. I can't even really show you on screen, but I've got to make a decision very, very soon. Am I going to do it or not? I'm a little scared. Your girl's a little scared because it's not permanent necessarily, but it is kind of permanent. You know what I'm saying? It would take hours once I start interlocking these. It would take a long time probably to take these out. And I don't know if I have the capacity to sit there and do that. So I've got to make a decision. Either take out these micro twists and just go back to my regular hair and whatever it is I'm going to do, I don't know. Or I am going to interlock. I bought the tool. It should be here early this week. And so I'm going to make a decision sometime this week. I really just don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know why. It just feels like such a big decision. It's just hair, right? But it feels like a big decision to make. I don't know if I'm overthinking things. I really don't know. And I was a little discouraged actually yesterday because maybe because I have a lot of new growth. I don't know. But my daughter had taken a picture of me yesterday. We had gone out to the park. There's a dock. We were sitting on the dock with all this lake and the water, and she took a picture of me. And when I looked back at the picture, and this is how we are our own most critical selves, right? You would think, or you would hope that you take a picture, you're in a beautiful surrounding, you can see the water, you would think, oh, this is a beautiful scene. Look at how relaxed I look. Look at how the sun is hitting the water, that kind of thing, right? But I instantly just went into my insecurities. Instantly just went into my insecurities. I was like, oh, your stomach looks so fat. Your boobs look so big. You look at your double chin. Like I have a double chin. If it's not showing up on camera for some reason, but I do. And then I saw my hair and my hair looked like a my hair looked like a helmet. My hair looked like a helmet. And I think it's because I have a lot of new growth. Again, I'm going into the sixth week of having these micro twists that I put in. And so my hair is not laying as flat, and so I was turned to the side and my hair, and you could probably even see it just looks weird, right? My hair just looked like a helmet. And I was just like, oh my God, like maybe you should not do maybe you should not lock up your hair, because if by week 3, 4, 5, whatever, you're going to be looking like you have a helmet on your head, I don't know if that's the move, sis. I don't know. So I really don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, so I have a big decision to make. If you make it this far, let me know your thoughts. Should I just go on and lock it up and trust the process, as they say, or should I just go ahead and take them out and just I don't even know what I would do for winter. Like wash and goes, your hair is wet a long time with wash and goes. You know what I'm saying? And that's really the only other style that I wear, other than twist outs, which with a twist out, you have to retwist. I have to retwist my hair pretty much if not every day, every other night, I have to retwist my hair. So I don't know. I don't know if anything's really convenient, because even if I lock up, yes, definitely it's convenient because I'm not every day, just, you know what I'm saying? But then week 6, 7, 8 or whatever, I've got to interlock 450 micro twists, which probably will take hours. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. So a lot of decisions to be made, but I'll figure it out at some point in the very near. I mean, I literally don't have a choice. I have to figure it out in the next week. Either take them out or leave them in. Oh, my daughter literally just texted me. I have to go and pick her up from work, which is a good thing that I'm stopping right here. But at least I did one row. So there is proof that I can crochet, in case anyone is like, that heifer ain't crocheting nothing. If you go and watch the video, you will see I crocheted a whole row. Okay. But I got to go pick up my daughter. Happy Sunday. If you made it this far, make sure you listen to the podcast on Monday, which is tomorrow, on iTunes and Spotify, Brown Girl Self-Care Podcast. And thanks for hanging out with me if you did. And I will see you in another video. Bye.